Good evening, everybody. I have just made Lucy co-host. I hope that's okay, just so you can mute anybody if I can't see while I'm sharing the slides. So my name is Danni Wells, and I am so excited to be here and share a little bit about my Arbonne journey with you all. I have got some slides, but before I begin going through the slides and explaining what Arbonne is, I thought I'd just explain a little bit about my story and how I actually came across Arbonne. So basically, I have had my Arbonne business for 11 years now. But previously to that, I actually was trained in ophthalmology. So I used to work for Specsavers Opticians. Anyone here from the UK, if you've heard of Specsavers, just pop it in the chat. Let me know. I still really rate them, even though I don't work for them anymore. I'm a massive advocate for them. So I was working at Specsavers, absolutely loving my life. I trained in ophthalmology. I would skip to work. I was literally that annoying person that loved what she did and thought I would retire with the company. And what happened was, me and my husband had two children at the time. And unfortunately, our second daughter had a stroke and a brain hemorrhage, and it came completely out the blue. Literally, rug was pulled from beneath us. 1 minute I'm working, paying the bills, everything's rosy. The next minute I'm in hospital, living there with my daughter who's extremely unwell. And basically, I had a year off work to be with her. Most of that time was unpaid and struggled financially massively because I don't know if anyone's ever had this. And the most similar thing I can bring it back to is like when COVID hit and people that were self-employed or going about their business literally overnight were told, oh, by the way, you can't work anymore, you can't earn any money. Like that was how it felt for us going back 14 years ago when this happened. So my husband was working overtime, but the problem was he has an autoimmune, so he's diagnosed with ME and so suffers massively with like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and somebody that suffers with any kind of autoimmune shouldn't be doing overtime. And he was doing all this overtime to try and bring in this lost income from my income going. And I could see he was basically putting himself into an early grave. So picture our life back then, 11 years ago. We had no money coming in, apart from my husband's, but it wasn't enough to pay the bills. I was back and forth in and out of hospital with my daughter because even when she was discharged, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So that meant that she had countless different hospital appointments at different cities, different towns. And it was just a really, really dark time in our life. So I actually put on Facebook one day a massive like I was like moaning basically. I was like, it's not fair. My husband's is so poorly. He was doing all this extra work. He never has dinner together with us as a family because he leaves for the house before they wake up. He gets back when they're in bed. He's working the weekends. And I think I said something like, I'm a good person. I've always worked since I could do a paper round. I've never not worked. And we've got bailiffs knocking on the door. Like you can imagine like this rant on Facebook. And it was like it was a massive cry for help basically. And somebody that I kind of knew a little bit when I was in the Air Cadets as a teenager, because I wanted to be in the RAF when I was younger. So I joined the Air Cadets. I'd made friends with this girl and we were Facebook friends, but we didn't really know each other that well. She sent me a message and she was like, oh, hi, Danni. I can see you having like a really rough time at the minute. I've actually got this business that I've just started. It's like a franchise. It's called Arbonne. I'd love to tell you a bit more about it. I'd never heard of it, but I was completely open. I was so desperate. I was like, I'm open to hearing about anything. I met her the next day and she literally told me about Arbonne in 3 minutes. I feel like I can't do that. I can't tell you. I don't know how she did it, but I can't tell you about Arbonne in 3 minutes, but I'm going to try and do it in 20 minutes. And I've got some slides just to try and keep me on track. But basically what she said to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this exists. I can do this. I absolutely can learn. All the training was free. I was like, I already eat, I drink, and I shower. I'm already using things that Arbonne make. And instead of spending money in Morrison's on these products, which is where I bought all my makeup from, my sun cream, my toothpaste, deodorant, when we did the weekly food shop, the kids' hair and body wash went in the trolley. I was like, instead of giving Morrison's all this money on personal care products, I can buy it from myself and it's a tax deductible expense. And then I can review them. I'm good at saying reviews. I'll recommend something that I've seen on Netflix and tell everybody about it. I can do exactly the same with these products, share a review about them. And then if somebody wants to buy based on my recommendation, I get paid for it. And she was like, yeah. I was like, I'm in. I literally was like, nobody had come up to me. The period of time from my daughter having her stroke to starting Arbonne was 2 years. Nobody had come up to me in that 2 years and offered me anything, even if I was to say Arbonne was at a 100, no one had even offered me like a number 10 in that time. I was like, yes. I will kiss your feet. How do I sign up? I was so excited to actually have a potential solution. So I jumped in and I joined, and it has literally been the best decision for me. So I'm going to try and explain to you what she explained to me, but not in 3 minutes, unfortunately. I wish that I could. I really do. So the first thing that she told me about was about the story about Arbonne. So Arbonne was actually founded. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see this. Okay. Okay, so Arbonne was actually founded by a man called Peter Mork, and I love this story. So I'm all about family businesses, a family heritage, history, legacy. I love it. So basically, Peter Mork was a man that had actually been raised by a single mum, and she was working 3 jobs just to put food on the table for her 4 children. And Petter watched this as a child, and this influenced him starting Arbonne as an adult. So he watched his mum literally no time, constantly working just to try and fend for her family. And obviously, it set a spark off in him because he must have thought, when I'm older, I want to do something that is going to empower women to be able to be at home with their children and work. Now, I will say a little disclaimer here. Arbonne is not just for women. We have loads of men that are very successful in Arbonne, but this was just his little spark that was set in him when he was younger. So he actually went on to become a botanist, which is somebody that works with plants and creates formulas. And he worked for a company that was very, very well known. If I say it, you'll probably have heard about it. However, this company is actually back and forth being dragged through the courts because they put a lot of ingredients into their products that they know cause long-term health problems for people. Now, going back to the 60s when Petter was working, he had one of the highest paying jobs working for this company, creating formulations. He knew what was going on here and he was not for it at all. He was very anti the the company being extremely profit driven and not really caring about people. So with his giant heart, he actually decided to walk away from one of the most highest paying jobs that you could have had at the time, and decided to set up his own business and create one of the first companies, Arbonne, which creates clean products that actually help people, that actually make a difference and don't cause long-term health problems for people. So can you imagine like standing out on that skinny branch and doing this and declaring that your products are going to be, they're going to be vegan? In the 60s and 70s, no one even had heard of vegan. He was like, they're going to be gluten-free, they're going to be plant-based, they're going to be science-driven, they're going to work, and they're going to make a real big difference to people. And he did that. He stepped out there and he created this incredible company, which a lot of us here absolutely is in our hearts now. We love everything about Arbonne. So his 3 main focuses were: the company is going to be clean, it's going to be conscious, and it's going to be connected. And I love this about connected because we're in an age now where AI is taking over. But back when he first started Arbonne, AI, no, I don't think anyone even ever heard of AI, but he was so forward thinking that he was like, I'm not going to sell my products in a shop, because when products are sold through the shop route, we've all been there. We've walked into Superdrug or Boots, we've picked up an item from the shelf, we've gone to the till and paid for it, and there's been no connection there. Whereas when we've actually spoke to somebody, if you've ever gone to a car garage and you've spoke to a car salesperson and they are there to assist you and they're like, right, what are you looking for? And you tell them, they're like, have you got any preferences? And you tell them, they're there, they're connected to you and what you need with that car, and they hopefully sell you the car that you actually need. So Petter was like, we're not going to sell our products through the shop route because there's no connection there. And also, when products are sold through the shop route, they have to go up like 80% in price to pay for the whole middle process, which I'll talk about in a few moments. So when somebody actually buys a product from Arbonne, so for example, when my customers come to me, a lot of the time it's through referrals. So if I have a friend, Sue, and Sue says to her friend Sally, you've got to go and speak to Danni. She's got these amazing products for babies, like this baby care range. It's amazing. You've got to go and speak to her. And then Sally comes to me and she says, oh, our mutual friend Sue recommended us. I roll out the red carpet. So I'm literally like, tell me everything that you're looking for. Tell me all about yourself. Tell me about your job. Tell me about your animals. Tell me about your children. Tell me what's going on. And that person becomes my friend, and I care deeply about that person. So all of my customers, which majority of the time are referrals, I'm invested in them as a human being. And if they decide to order products from my website, I check in with them a couple of days later. Did your products arrive okay? Do you know how to use them? No, let me go through the skincare system. Let me talk you through it all. And then I'll check in with them again a few weeks later. Did you have any more questions? How are you getting on with everything? I make sure that when it's their birthday, they get a personalized message from me. They get a little Christmas card from me that's handwritten. So this connection feeds through all of us that are Arbonne consultants. We care deeply about our customers. We care deeply about our team members. And this is what Petter wanted. He wanted there to be connection with his Arbonne company. So moving on to wellness, because when my friend was first telling me about this potential thing that I could do 11 years ago, when she was first explaining to me the concept about making reviews, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope it's not like tables that we're selling, because I have a table, I do, and I love it, but I only have one and I only need one, don't need any more tables. So if I'm going to build a customer base, I don't really want it to be tables, because people only tend to buy one in a lifetime, maybe two in a lifetime. So from a business point of view, it wasn't a very smart business idea. But when she said the products that we have, the products that Arbonne make are wellness products, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody I know uses something like toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, sun cream, makeup, possibly, hair care, possibly, skincare, possibly. Everybody eats and drinks. We have nutrition, we have supplements. I was like, oh, this is amazing, because I know even if I only spoke to, say, 10 people about what I have to offer, they all know at least one person each that is going to want to buy from me based on what I have to sell. And the other thing that I love about this is it's all online. So your business is running 24/7. When you have a traditional business, you might have to get up early to open up the shop at 9 o'clock in the morning, take a lunch break, and then close the shop at 5 o'clock. And you work out how many hours you've got there to actually serve customers. Whereas when you've got an online business, people are ordering from your app, from your website 24/7, which is amazing. I'm sat here now and I've been talking to you guys for 10 minutes and I can see my phone flashing. I get a notification when an order's gone through my website, and I've already had multiple notifications that people are ordering. It's probably people from Australia, because they're started to wake up as we're starting to go to sleep in the UK, which is what happens. You wake up in the morning and you look on your phone and you've had multiple notifications. So people in New Zealand and Australia have been buying their sun cream while you've been asleep, and you've earned money, which is just, it blows my mind. So when I think this is the point where I said to my friend, I was like, I'm in. Yeah, sounds brilliant. Great. So Arbonne does have so many products. There is literally something for everybody. And what I absolutely love about the Arbonne products is they are 100% what they should be. So for example, when I wasn't using Arbonne products, I had a bit of a problem going on in my life. And that was that my two children at the time had really bad eczema. They had really sore skin. And I was going to Morrison's every week, doing my food shop and putting in hair and body wash for kids into my shopping trolley, thinking nothing of it. Would take my two children to the GPs and say to them, look, their skin is so like red, raw and itchy. They're up in the night, crying, they're bleeding. And the GP would prescribe like steroids and ointments, and basically nothing ever worked. Nothing worked long term anyway. It might go for a few days and it would come back. When I started learning about Arbonne, with all the free training, I learned about something called mineral oil, which I had never heard of. So basically, when I was buying my kids' hair and body wash, for the bottle was about like 99p, so let's say a pound, or a dollar. About 3% of that bottle was the ingredients it was supposed to be, but the rest of the bottle had been watered down in something called mineral oil. And what this is, when you've got the oil rigs in the sea and you've got people that extract the crude oil from the ground, they pull that oil up and that is used for fuel in cars. But there's a part of it, the top part, they scrape off, and that top part, that scum at the top is basically deemed not good enough for fuel. So just like take a second to like register that. This top part, this byproduct is not good enough for fuel. So the oil rigs are left with gallons and gallons and gallons of this stuff, which is called mineral oil. So they're like, well, what are we going to do with all this mineral oil? And they're not allowed to dispose of it on the environment because it's environmentally harmful. They're not allowed to sell it to the food and drinks industry. So they're like, what are we going to do? So what they do is they sell it for pence, for gallons and gallons of this stuff, to the cosmetics industry and the skincare industry. So when I was buying my kids' hair and body wash, thinking, oh, it's only £1 every week, putting one of these in the trolley, most of this bottle was mineral oil. So I'm literally lathering my kids in one of the most harmful things that you can put on your skin and wondering why I'm back and forth at the GPs with them having eczema. Like now, I realize that now, but at the time I just never connected it. And once I started to learn about mineral oil, I started to notice that it was in everything. If you've ever had makeup slide off your face, mineral oil. If you've ever put hand cream on and your hands are like greasy and you're like wiping it, mineral oil. If you've ever had like prickly heat from sun cream, mineral oil. If you go and have a look, most products, obviously not from Arbonne, but most products have got mineral oil in. And it's so sneaky because companies, they know how bad it is and they actually disguise it under about 60 different names. You can Google it, all the different names it has, vile. So what I loved about Arbonne is when I got my products. So this is actually a hand cream, but let's just pretend it's the kids' hair and body wash because that was the first product that I used. I literally took out a tiny amount. So again, this is the hand cream, so only a tiny amount needed. But when it came to the kids' hair and body wash, the tiniest little amount, and it bathed and did the hair of both my children. And the one bottle of kids' hair and body wash lasted me nearly a year. So although when I initially bought it, it did cost me more than £1. It cost me significantly more than £1. And I was very hesitant. I was very much like, oh, it's a lot more than I'm used to spending. I think it was £20. So when you're used to spending £1 and then you go to 20, that's a big jump. And I was like, oh, I'm a bit nervous about this. And the girl that introduced me to the business said to me, look, Arbonne offer a 90-day money-back guarantee for any of their customers, their PCs, if they don't get on with their products. Even if you've used the product, if you don't get the results that you're hoping for, you can send the empty packaging back and get a full refund. And when she said that, I just thought if that company's willing to do that, I'm willing to take a chance. And the other thing she said to me was, if it works, like put a price on if it worked. And I was like, well, I'd pay more than that. I'd pay quadruple that if it works. So I did buy the kids' hair and body wash and I was nervous, but it did work within days. And that one bottle lasted me a year. So when I actually worked it out and I was like, okay, so I've paid £20 for one product for a year versus going to the supermarket every week and spending £1, that's 52 bottles a year, £52 a year, not to mention the environmental impact on all those 52 bottles versus Arbonne's recyclable materials using the TerraCycle. I was like, it's an absolute no-brainer. And this is what I've learned with these products is they don't have any fillers, so they last. So it's like buying in bulk, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to go back to my slides. So the concept of Arbonne is absolutely brilliant. It's like farm to table. So the products are made at the manufacturers, and then your customer will go onto your app/website, and they will order the products and they will get delivered straight to their door. And I love that because I love going to the farm shop and going to buy my potatoes, and I knew they were there, that's where they were grown. I've picked them up, I've brought them home, I'm the end consumer, and I'm going to make them. Whereas what happens when you buy products from the shop, and I'm going to use my Specsavers experience, but they are certainly not the only retailer that do this. When you buy something from a shop like an optician's and you pick up your glasses or whatever it is, clothes, coffee from the coffee shop, doesn't matter. You've walked into a shop, you've picked it up as the end consumer, they whack up that price 80%. So when I would sell glasses in the opticians for say £200, I knew they cost pence to make. The lenses cost pence, the frames cost pence. I mean, I know they've got to pay for the staff and the overheads and the marketing and the advertising. I know that, but who's paying for it? You, the customer. The customer pays for all that. It's insane. So when Petta's idea was, we're just going to cut that whole process out. We're literally going to make the products and ship them straight to the end consumer and not pay for advertising, not pay for marketing, not pay for retailers, not pay for warehouse. Like it just is the most incredible concept. And I know for me, when I'm ordering my products, I love knowing that they're made and they're shipped to me, which is fantastic. And it saves Arbonne, oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you how much money it saves Arbonne, which is why they can use all that money that they save and give people like myself and other consultants a commission based on our referrals. So if you've ever referred anything like HelloFresh food boxes, refer a friend and you get, I don't know what it is now, but £50 off your next 4 boxes or something, or Sky TV, refer a friend and you get £50 off your next bill. Like companies do referrals, like it's not an unusual thing, but Arbonne only do this. They don't do it as well as advertising like Sky and HelloFresh, just using them as an example. So they save so much money. And then if we refer somebody to our products, Arbonne pay us the following week, which I absolutely love. And it couldn't be any more simple. Most people are shopping online. I say everybody because I do know a few people of the older generation that still choose not to. However, most people are shopping online. Most people are picking up their phone, they're seeing an advert on Instagram and thinking, oh, that looks good. Clicking shop now, order, pay by Apple Pay, delivered to their door the next day. Like, this is a concept that we're all very familiar with now. So why not have people buy from you? Why not have your own Arbonne app that people are clicking on, possibly 24/7, and ordering products from you, and you're getting pings like every few minutes saying someone's placed an order, someone's placed an order. It's brilliant. And you get paid the following week. So when I first started this business, I'm going to tell you how this actually worked for me. So a real story. When I first started the business, I bought the kids home body wash. Just gonna have a sip of my matcha. Has anyone tried the Arbonne matcha yet? I love it. The only thing is you can't have matcha from anywhere else because it's subpar compared to Arbonne's matcha. That's the only thing about it. So when I first started this business, I got the kids hair and body wash, and within days, the results of my two children were that staggering that I was on the school run, and a couple of the mums that I did know but didn't know really well collared me, and they were like, Danny, what's going on with their because they used to have it on their face. They're like, what's going on with their skin? Like, the difference. And I was brand new in Arbonne. So I think I said something like, oh, it's my new franchise from Switzerland, and they do clean products, over 500, and it's farm to table, and they don't sell in a shop. I think I said something like that. I obviously didn't really know what I was talking about in the beginning, but it was enough. It was enough. And one of the mums said, oh, well, if it's worked for you, I'm gonna give it a go, this kids hair and body wash. So if they don't sell in a shop, how do I buy it? I was like, oh, you cannot buy Arbonne anywhere. You can only buy it if you know a representative. And I am now a representative. So this was like how I was talking at the time. And she was like, great, send me your website, send me your link, and I'll order it when I get home. I was like, okay. So I sent her my link, and literally, I think I'd only been home for like 20 minutes, and I was sat having a fizz stick, and had a ping on my phone, and she'd gone on and she'd ordered this from my website, and I got paid for that. And I was like, oh wow, I got paid for that referral. That's amazing. Like, oh, hope it works. It did work, and she was absolutely thrilled. And then what happened was, she told her next door neighbor who also had the same problems. And this next door neighbor, who was a complete stranger to me, went on my website link and ordered this product. And so this happened a few days later. I had another ping on my phone, and I was like, oh, I don't know who that is. Like, complete strangers just ordered products off my website. Did a little bit of investigating, and I realized my friend had referred me to her neighbor, and I was paid for that. And I was thinking, do you know what? Isn't it funny? Because I had this like initial thought when I first started Arbonne that I don't know enough people, but it's quite clear to me that one person can refer you to their whole network, and you can grow a multi-million-dollar business without actually knowing that many people. Like, this is amazing. It's like the word of mouth phenomenon. Like, I'm guessing most people here are on Facebook and they didn't actually know Mark Zuckerberg. Like, it is how the word of mouth goes. So I then messaged this stranger, thank you so much for ordering from my website, I'm really grateful, and became friends with her. And then she has a sister in Australia. I told her sister about this product, and she then ordered products off my website. So my first customer abroad, and then I got this ping, and I'd earned money in my sleep, and I was like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if this like carries on building this way? And that was how my business started to grow initially. So I had one kind of acquaintance on the school run, and then she told her neighbor, and she told her sister in Australia. And that was starting to grow then, that I'd had these results with the products. Well, my children had the results with the products, and then people were starting to see, and then they were telling people, and they were telling people, and then all of a sudden I had all this energy, and people were like, where's all this energy come from? Like, you're normally really like shoulders down, really lethargic, really like low in confidence. And now all of a sudden you're walking everywhere with your shoulders back, your hair looks great, your skin looks great. And I was like, oh, it's the fizz sticks. Let me know in the chat if you've ever tried the fizz stick drinks, which I absolutely love. As soon as I started to tell people about my energy, they were like, where do I get these fizz sticks from? So that was kind of like how my business started to grow in the early days, in the beginning. So just going to go past these because that's how it grows. Right. So where do you see yourself? So there's 4 ways that you can get involved with Arbonne. So number one is to just be a retail client. Really simple. It's like ordering off Amazon. It's so straightforward. You go onto the consultant that you know, their website, you order the products that you want, they get delivered to your door. Really straightforward. Number 2 is preferred client. Now, this is like having Amazon Prime. So this is where you pay annually and it's £10 in the UK. If you want to know these prices in any other markets, just let your consultant know and they will tell you the prices. But in the UK, it's £10 a year to be a preferred client, and you get perks like discounts on your products, free shipping, free gifts. Absolutely amazing. I encourage all of my customers to pay the £10 if they're going to buy 2 or 3 products a year, and they absolutely love the perks. So that's great. Number 3 is our Replenish Me client. Now, this is our subscription program. Fantastic if you're going to regularly order products, like, for example, the fizz sticks. If you're like, well, I need fizz sticks every month or every 2 months, or if you like, I need the foundation every 3 months or whatever you've got going on, you can become a Replenish Me client. And the perks there are free gifts in your boxes and free shipping, and you get £40 credits, vouchers every 3 orders, up to 3 a year. Was it 4 a year? 3 a year. Must be 3 a year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, please. So that's the Replenish Me. Now, the last option, 4th and final option, which I think is the best, is the independent consultant option, because you get all of the products, of course, and if you talk about them, which you would anyway, wouldn't you? Like if you were watching something fantastic on Netflix and you were like, oh my gosh, that was an hour of my time well spent, you would tell people. And that's what happens when you use these products. Like, for example, Arbonne just relaunched their hair care range. And what I love about Arbonne is they invent something, and then as soon as it's launched, they go back to the boardroom the next day and they're like, right, how do we make that better? And every like 3 or 4 years, everything's being reinvented. It's such an innovative company. And the only way I can describe it is it's like Apple technology. They launch an iPhone and then the next day they're back in the boardroom going, right, what should we do to make it better for the next one? That's exactly what Arbonne are like. So they've just gone through the most innovative hair care you could ever imagine. I started using it. I literally can't stop touching my hair. I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair feels amazing. I absolutely love it. I feel like I have like royalty, celebrity standard hair. It's brilliant. So you get to use these products and you get to talk about them. And then if somebody says to you, wait a minute, how do I get involved with getting these products? Like, your skin is amazing. How can I access this skincare range? You give them your website link and they order these products and you get paid for it. You are the walking, talking advert. You are the walking, talking billboard. Not to mention the fact that all of the products that you want to get for yourself are then classed as a tax deductible expense, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And the perks, they just go on and on. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the commissions before I start to wrap up, and the perks. So when you start an Arbonne business, the cost of your website is normally £70, but there are times when it is on offer, and it is on offer this month, isn't it? Let me know in the chat. I think it is on, I'm pretty sure it is on offer this month. I'm quite sure it is, but normally it's £70. And as soon as you start, you get access to all the free training, mentorship, all the products at cost, and that's basically all the perks. Then, if you build your business to level 1, so I'm going to go through the 4 levels. There's only 4 levels in Arbonne. If you build your business to level 1, which is a district manager. So if anyone here has ever promoted to district manager, let us know in the chat. So district manager, it actually took me 4 months to promote to district manager, but for some people, they do it in like their first week. You get an 8% pay rise here, and you get the perks of the leadership perks. So you get added into leadership style training, leadership style mentorship. Arbonne UK do like a district manager day. So you get really nice perks and recognition as well, which is always great recognition. So when I reached level 1, my income here was about £500 a month. Now, I know that probably doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it was a lot of money for us at the time, because it meant that I could phone tax credits. Because when I'd left my business, when I'd left my work at Specsavers, I'd had to go on to benefits just to try and survive. So when we reached level 1, my goal with this business was to ring tax credits and be like, thank you so much for supporting us, but we don't need it anymore. Give that money to somebody that actually really does need it. We were in a situation in our life where we obviously had the bailiffs knocking on the door, that, like I'd already said, and we were about £40,000 in debt. And that's not through living the life of Riley. That is just from trying to pay bills. So starting Arbonne for me was, right, how quick can I get to level 1, earn £500 a month, ring tax credits, thank them for the money and tell them I can support our family without your help. Thank you so much. So I was able to do that for 4 months, and that really was the most even to this day now, that was probably the most life-changing phone call I've ever had, to be able to say thank you, but I can support us now. Give that to somebody that actually really needs it. Really, it was amazing. It makes me emotional even thinking about it now. So level number 2 is area manager. Let me know in the chat if you've ever promoted to area manager. It took me 6 months to build to this level, and at this point you get paid 14% commission overrides. And what I love about area manager is your business becomes willable. So when I worked for the opticians, if anything had happened to me, I probably would have been lucky if the owner of that business sent like flowers to my funeral. That would have been it. Definitely would not have supported my family financially, but Arbonne will your business that you've built. So for me, I was like, right, if I build this and anything happens to me, I know my husband and my 2 daughters at the time are going to receive that income every single week from Arbonne, hopefully until the rest of their lives, and then it's will to their children if they have children, which would be my grandchildren, and then will to them and will to them, which is 6 generations deep. Like my great 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 grandchildren will never know me, but they'll receive this paycheck from this business and they'll be like, our great 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 Danny, granny Danny, never thought about that, grandma Danny, who we've never met, we don't know, has this income that's just willed to us, this inheritance. So that for me was massive, absolutely massive. So that was area manager level. I carried on building to level 3, which is regional vice president level. If you've ever promoted to regional vice president level, let me know in the chat. So I did this within 11 months of starting. It's a 17% pay rise of your overrides. And at this point, Arbonne also give you a cash bonus towards a white Mercedes. So I literally waved goodbye to this banger, awful Fiesta and said hello to this incredible Mercedes car, like rolled onto the drive. And I've had a new Mercedes car every 3 years. So I think I'm on my 5th Mercedes car, which I love. I love driving around in a white Mercedes. I'm not a car person, but I just absolutely love driving around in it. And at this level, level 3, my income was about £5,000 a month. I think I forgot to say what it was at level 2. So my income at level 2 was about £2,000 a month. So at this point, level 3, I'm earning £5,000 a month, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. This is absolutely amazing. So what that meant for us as a family was we could actually start to think about buying our own house, because we just rented this tiny 2 up, 2 down, and we just rented that for like 11, 12 years and thought nothing of it. So because of this business, I was like, right, hang on a minute. We can start putting this money to one side and actually buy our dream house, and not just like scrape onto the property ladder with like our first home that's tiny, it's a dump. Like we can actually put this money to one side and get our dream home. And that's exactly what we did. So the house we live in now, if anyone's ever been to my house, it is absolutely my dream house, and everything about it I absolutely love. And people are like, how many houses did you have to buy on the property ladder to get this one? I'm like, this was our first house. And that is because of Arbonne. So because of this money building in my Arbonne business, the work and effort I was putting into, we bought our dream house, and we've been in it 5 years now. And I absolutely still walk around thinking, oh my gosh, this is thanks to Arbonne. So level number 4, there's only 4 levels in Arbonne. So if you've ever promoted to the top level, national vice president, let me know in the chat. It took me 4 years to build here. I was quite slow. Like it's been done in 6 months, but you know, each to their own. You're your own boss. You get to choose the speed in this business. At this point, you get paid 18% commission overrides. And at this point, you also unlock perks like going to Maui for you and a partner, or you and a friend, or you and a parent, or you and a child, whoever you want to take. It's all paid for to go to Maui and Hawaii. You get paid to go to Las Vegas every year. You get other perks of different trips that you can go for. At this point, I was earning no less than £10,000 a month. My highest paycheck was actually £25,000 a month, in the peak of COVID when everybody was obsessed with nutrition. But it tended to be more like around £10,000-12,000 a month. And what that meant for us was we actually could expand our family. So we had 2 children at the time, and we were just like, okay, that's that, you know, we've got 2 children, that's great. But because of this business, my husband actually said to me, look, things are great. he had left his job and started his own business working part-time. So he was like, I've got loads of time, you've got loads of time, money's great, we've got this amazing house, why don't we have two more children? And I was like, yeah, like we've got all this love to give. And I can't even begin to tell you how priceless it is. If you want to expand your family, not everybody does, but if you want to and you feel like you can't because of time and money, this business gives you time and money. So the things that you want to do, like for us, expanding our family might not be that, might be something else. This enabled us to do just that. So I want you to have a think about the things that you really, really want, because what this business has done for me has been an absolute game changer. So very recently, my main adult in my life, which was my nan, so I don't have parents, so my main person was my nan, she fell ill and she had relentless appointments, and it was always at the drop of a hat. She was like, oh, she would like ring me and she would say, oh, I've got to go to this appointment, got to go to that, blah, blah, blah. Every time she rang me and said that she had needed to be in hospital, needed to go somewhere, I was like, yeah, absolutely fine. And I was able to, at the drop of a hat, do that. And I want you to have a think about, are you able to do that? Do you have the type of job that anytime a loved one says to you, I need you to be here, can you say yes? Because when I worked for Specsavers, and I loved that company, absolutely not. There's no way I'd have been able to keep saying to my boss, oh, by the way, my nan needs me. It was like 3-4 times a week. No way. So because of this business, I was able to be at the drop of a hat to every single thing she needed. Unfortunately, she did go into hospital and she did pass away, but I was there at everything, towards the end, knowing she was going, I was there. And it really made me reflect on my 11 years in Arbonne. And I was thinking, when I was 28, I said yes to this business opportunity, scared, not thinking I would know how to do it, not knowing anybody, basically living in hospital with my daughter. So I had no time, I had no money, I had no confidence, I had no skills. I don't even know why the girl told me about it, because I probably sounded like the worst person to be any good at this business. But actually, my 28-year-old self was like, do you know what? Let's go for it. If it's free training, let's try. Let's see what happens. And I am so grateful for that, because it meant that this year I was able to be totally present for my nan in her final chapter of her life. And I just want you to think about that. When you've got a loved one in the final chapter of their life, or they've got something going on, or a pet that's going to the vets, and you want to be there, and you don't want money to be in the way, especially at the vets when they're like, oh, by the way, it's going to cost 8 grand, and you pause and you go, oh my gosh, can I afford that? I want to be able to afford it. Can I afford? Like, what horrible position to be in. I know, because I've been there years ago thinking, oh gosh, I don't think we can afford that. Whereas now, anything that my pet needs, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. This is what this business does. Like, it's not really about selling products. Yes, we have products. Yes, the products are great, but really it's about giving yourself the opportunity to take the handcuffs off and be able to say yes, because you've got the money, you've got the time, you've got the confidence, you've got the network, you've got the supportive people in Arbonne around you, you've got the cheerleaders in Arbonne that are like, anything you want to do, you want to write a book, you go for it, you want to write a song, you go for it. Like, the people in Arbonne are the biggest cheerleaders. You cannot pay for the community that you get for free in Arbonne. Like, it's like a door to a whole new world that I wish I'd known about when I was much younger, because it would have made me a completely different teenager. So this business is life-changing. I'm telling you now, not just because it got me off benefits, it did. It changed my confidence. It changed everything about me as a person. I wake up and I'm happy all the time now. And I look back to myself pre-Arbonne, I was always miserable. I was diagnosed with depression, and I'm like, did I have depression, or was I just really unhappy? And I look back and I had no purpose. I had nothing to be passionate about. There was nothing to be excited about. This is for my life. Your life might be different, but for me, there was nothing going on. Now in Arbonne, I wake up and there's always something exciting happening. Always. Somebody in the teams hit a milestone, and everyone in the WhatsApp's like, oh wow, that's amazing. Like, they've got their first customer. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And it goes off like fireworks. Everyone's like, well done, well done, well done, well done. And it doesn't affect you in any way, but you just are enveloped into that excitement. And it just, it brings my soul to life. And if you're somebody that's listening to this and you're like, I want my soul to come to life as well. The money would be nice, having the time freedom would be nice, but I just want to feel alive every day, like there's a fire burning in me with passion and purpose, and to build something, this legacy for my great, 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 great grandchildren who I will never meet. And I want to be able to say yes if the vets ring me and say, I've got to pay £18,000 for an operation. Yes, okay, absolutely. Like, if you are sick to freaking death of saying no to things, this is your answer. And I'm telling you now, you might not know how to do it. It's scary, but your consultant who you know is going to take your hand and they're going to show you the ropes. They're going to mentor you. They're going to be there for you. And the community is going to hug you in and show you everything. And I promise you now, you will not regret it. In my 11 years in Arbonne, I have not met a single person that said, oh my gosh, I regret doing Arbonne. Not a single soul. This is the best thing. This is the best gig. More people need to know about this. You need to join so you can tell more people, because it is the most incredible thing to be a part of. So that is me over and out. I told you I couldn't do it in 3 minutes. I don't know how my friend did it. I wish I knew, but I hope that I've inspired you to say, oh my gosh, what am I waiting for? Let's get started. And I look forward to seeing you being welcomed into the WhatsApp and being here for anybody that starts as part of the community. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.